All right, ladies and gentlemen, it is now 3 minutes till 9. We are out of executive session, and there is no action to be taken. However, we do have some comments. Ward A comments. Ward A comments. All right, Ward B comments.
I just got a couple.
Thank you.
First off, I want to give a big shout out to everybody who participated and was involved in the Kids Fest. I know my kids look forward to that every year. So big shout out to everybody involved, everyone who participated. Next thing, Mr. Kelty, on the lighting program, we've got a bunch of these new lights in subdivisions or on the streets that aren't lit. What's the plan? There's no power running to any of them.
Are you talking about the new lights that have been installed?
Yes, sir.
I will get with Laura Kramer and the gentleman from Centerpoint, I can't remember his name, and find out what the status of those are.
Cool. Thank you.
There's also some on 288 coming in that are out as well.
There's quite a few around the city that are out.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, Councilman Ward C.
Thank you, Mayor. Just three quick comments. One, I have received some concerns of residents off of Avenue M and Yellowstone, and also the church right there at that T, where,
Yellowstone?
yes,
Okay.
Avenue M and Yellowstone. That stop sign, people are just blown right through it. They've hit the church a few times, and they have asked what we need to do to get a blinking stop sign, so at night they can see that and know that, hey, they need to stop.
Is it normally happening at night?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. The other issue that I have is off of 8th Street. I think it was the 1800 block. It could be the 1700 block.
So Gene dragged me out here to Las Vegas so we can climb some random mountain where he crashed his big fancy new drone. Now he wants to get a time lapse. Yeah, standing outside in the cold for 2 hours sounds real fun when you only get like 2 seconds of footage. Meanwhile, everyone else is partying and having a great time. Yeah.
Oh. Councilman Pena, we're back in open session if you'd like to come back.
Go ahead.
So 8th Street, there are residents who want to have those no parking signs removed. They do not have the ability to park their vehicles in the back. That's the only portion of 8th Street that have those parking signs, and so they would like to see those removed. So if we can get maybe planning, zoning, or meeting. And then the last thing is, this past weekend, I did a tour of the Vulcan asphalt property, and while it was running, and they showed me quite a bit, and I just wanted all the residents to know, if you have an issue where you hear loud noises or smells, please let me know, because I did speak with the vice president of Vulcan and told them that I would be asking the residents within Ward B and C if they had those issues to let me know so I could relay those. So yes, if you do have issues with that, please let me know. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Ward D, Councilman Rosso.
Yes, Ward D's good shape. Commend the city manager for putting a stop sign up. Stop signs are very, very important. The response time on a stop sign, it should be done that day. The minute we know about it, we're liable for it. If we don't know about it, we're not liable for it. But If someone tell me that a stop sign's down, and I let somebody know in authority that it's down, we got to get it up right away. Simply because, I'll say it again, if we know that that stop sign is down and it's not fixed in a timely manner, some high-powered lawyer can get a whole bunch of money if there was an accident there, especially if someone was killed. I was told that we pick up trash once a month. Is that so? Anybody?
No, well, are you talking about bulk waste?
Bulk.
Yeah, so bulk waste is picked up once a month.
Once a
It's actually picked up every week, but once a month each residence, because it goes by ward.
Okay.
So Ward A
Ward.
is the first Wednesday of the month. Ward D would be the fourth Wednesday of the month.
Fourth Wednesday of the month? Okay. Because I have a bunch of piles in front of my house. They're not mine, they're my neighbors, because he had a lot of piles, and the city told him he had to get them individually stacked. Those are some of the calls that I've gotten, and visits, is debris. And they hadn't been doing it once a month. So I don't know who's in charge of that. Is it Casey? Roman?
Well, it's with
That's
Amerit
code?
Waste,
Does that
and so I
fall
would be
under-
talking to them.
Does that
I'll
fall
talk to
under
them.
code?
If there are piles of bulk waste that are not being picked up because of the fact that they're in excess of the amount, sometimes people will put out, 10 or 15 cubic yards or more than they will pick up, because they're, under the terms of their contract, they'll pick up 5 cubic yards a month. So if there's more than that, then they won't pick it up. And so in those cases, code would be responsible to notify those individuals,
Okay,
those properties, if they.
Okay, so you're gonna notify them, you're not gonna mark that spot?
Yeah, so they
If you-
won't, they won't, if you have a 10 cubic yard pile of bulk waste, they won't come by and pick up 5 cubic yards. They will not pick it up, now I've told them, if we've already notified the property owner that they're not supposed to do that, they can pick it up, but there's going to be a significant charge to that property owner to do that, so.
Well, when I first got on the council, I made mention that I wanted to clean the city up. That's one of the things that I wanted to do, is get the city cleaned up. I concentrate mostly on Ward D, but I want the whole city to be cleaned up. And in cleaning it up, that entails mowing. And we have a problem with the city, and the city mowing property that, not only property that people live in, but property that's abandoned or no one lives there. And there's 2 or 3 places that I've complained about right here in this chamber, and it hadn't been addressed. It hadn't been done for whatever reason. But I get the phone calls in Ward D, or I get the visits in Ward D. And what I'm saying is reasonable. It's reasonable. I'm not trying to make it pick on something that's really hard to do. All the things that I've just talked about are reasonable. They can be done, and they should be done. It's unacceptable that they're not done. That's all I got.
Thank you, sir. Councilman Pena, you've returned. Would you like to make some announcements and comments?
Yeah, I, as usual, want to first touch on the folks that came forward here that I wanted to respond to. Mahatma Rice, the representatives from there, talking about the water boils and the water cutoffs. That's just one business owner. I'm really surprised they came in from the port, but there are multiple businesses, mom and pops and residents, that this costs thousands of dollars to. And like he said, they may not be down, they're not losing millions, they're losing probably hundreds of thousands, maybe tens of thousands. And the mom and pops are losing hundreds and thousands, and that's a lot of money to them. And when we talked about, here we go, we actually had another water break tonight, and I'm very curious what the source was. And my question was, hey, will we get a test as to when that water will be clean and safe to drink? That there was 2 locations potentially, and the second location was only if there's an emergency. And I just want to say, every time this happens, it is an emergency. So whatever is the most expeditious manner of getting those results so that people can actually get back to business, get back to living in their homes, we need to make sure we make those measures, take those measures. And that's more reason, yet again, why we need designated staff, and I hope that we do that in the budget, that we have these designated staffs in these departments watching these things. And whether it's, we have somebody just making sure that every dig permit that gets pulled, their number one job is to just go watch it, so that we don't have these kinds of disasters. And it's continuing, and it's a stress on our city, and it's a bad look. I think about the bad look that Lake Jackson had that one time with the splash pad, and I thought they were, well, I'll just say this. They had that one incident, and we're having multiple. And if we can help to prevent that, we need to take every measure to do so, because it's costing the city a lot of money and the businesses. And a lot of them are still just holding on by a thread. That said, one of the other persons that came up was Carla Clark, and she had mentioned the Skinner Street project that was on the budget for those street repairs. And I got to say, I'm glad she brought it up. We got to be focusing in on the areas that are high value, high traffic, that really, again, the main reason we want to make sure that we put our monies and dollars toward are the waterfronts. And it's those that are in need, those are the ones that need our attention. Those are the ones that need our investment. Moreover, that particular space there, if it's over, and we're not even sure exactly where it's at, but if it's anywhere near those 19 acres, and if there's a possibility that those 19 acres end up developed as a retirement community or a senior community or an assisted living community, we want to make sure that the streets and the sidewalks that are adjacent to that or lead to all the other commercial spaces in between, that they are also very handicap accessible versus just maybe your standard sidewalks that are 3 feet wide. And so, again, the cart before the horse, I want to make sure that we're looking at the big picture and looking at how we're planning these particular spaces and how we might require these developers to actually build things that are of value to our city, to our citizens, especially our aging citizens and our mothers and our fathers and aunts and uncles. Lastly, there's a gas leak that remains. From June, the gas leak that was in the alley in downtown off of Broad Street, and that was the one where there was a water leak, and CenterPoint came out, they busted a water main, and then it just ended up being one thing after another. Actually, it was a street repair that turned into a gas leak, that turned into a water main break. I'm here to tell you tonight that that gas leak is still in effect. There's gas smells all and up and down that alley. So I want to make sure, Mr. Kelty, that the maintenance department is aware of that, and if we have to contact CenterPoint on that, that's helpful. My other question is are there any other active water leaks that we're aware of in the city?
There were multiple that were repaired today. I don't know exactly their location.
Okay.
But I did ask Joe that before the meeting started if there were any more today, and he said, yeah, there was a couple that they were working on.
Okay, because
Evidently, they were small enough that they didn't cause disruption in service.
I'm glad they didn't disrupt the service. However, it is a cost to us when we start talking about all these water rate increases, which has already been passed. But this is more to the point. There's a water leak that's been sitting in downtown, and quite frankly, I've just been waiting to see if anybody's going to attend to it. And it was very obvious to me it's behind the Barcadia building. And I saw it through the alley, and it came out off to Broad Street. And I thought it would be addressed because, that's just a high-traffic area for the city staff. And over through the weekend, and I think even today, it was still leaking. So I'll double-check it tomorrow, but I wanted to bring that to your attention. And then also, I have residents over on 11th Street who have been really excited at the fact that Centerpoint put in the new lights, but they were not turned on. And so the question was, when will they be turned on? And I guess I won't get a response on that, but that's all right. The last thing I'll say is that when we're talking about the budget, one of the things I wanted to make sure that I mentioned in terms of raises, you know, I'm interested in making sure that we incentivize the first responders and giving employees, you know, cost of living adjustments, but we have to do it responsibly. And while we're still having all these systemic problems, I would suggest that none of the directors get any other raises until we clean up all these errors. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, sir. With that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn,
I'll make that motion.
and I'll entertain a second.
I'll second it.
And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carried. Thank you, gentlemen. We'll see you September 5th.
I will tell you that I'm going to be sending all of you all evaluation forms for myself to fill out and turn into the mayor. It'll be on the second meeting in